Hey guys, welcome back to the Unfiltered Gamer Kickstarter card game review. Today's game at the tip top is called Sunset Over Water by Pencil First Games. Sunset Over Water is made by Steve, Finn, Beth Sobel, and Eduardo Baraf, and it is a game in which you are playing as 1 through 4 players, and you're trying to go across landscapes and other areas of the world, and intervening with nature and painting portraits. And as you're painting, you're collecting different symbols to be able to paint. And whoever can paint the most portraits at the end of the game, or obtain the most points by painting portraits, is the winner. You're going to be going around on a series of different rounds, basically, in which you'll be playing cards, revealing them, deciding who goes first, how you're going to move, and what paintings or pictures you're going to be taking up off the board here. And as you take these pictures, you're going to match the symbology of the pictures onto requirements you'll need in order to attain certain paintings, and you're going to gain points. And it's going to go around in a circle, and then it's going to go again. You're going to start all over again, and you're going to refresh the board and whatnot. But that is the idea of Sunset Over Water, a beautiful little picturesque game. Let me go and show you what it looks like. So this is Sunset Over Water by Pencil First Games. As you can see, it is a lovely visual representation of different aspects of nature. You're going to have the rule book as well as all the different picture cards, and they all come in this green deck. And you're also going to be getting these specific special cards that you can obtain throughout the round. If you do certain things, like be the last person to move horizontally, be the last person to paint a landscape with only 2 features, or exactly 2 features. You're also going to be getting these commissions, in which they'll be placed up in the front during the round, and you're going to be trying to collect these after you collect paintings. You're also going to be getting a extra little expansion, which is kind of like Herbaceous, in which you came with a little bonus expansion, which is nice, as well as a single player mode over here. Every player is going to also get their player cards here, which represent the turns of the game, the phases, as well as your own unique deck. Each player will get a different colored deck, and you're going to get certain cards that are going to tell you different things, such as time, how you can move, and how many paintings you can pick up or pictures you can pick up. And that is the main aspect of the game, other than the box. All right, let me tell you how it's played. Now, the first thing you're going to do is look at the cards here, and it works pretty simply. You check to see if there's any game-ending scenarios here. Well, phase 1 is first. All players simultaneously will draw 3 planning cards. So if you play with a 3-4 player game, everybody's going to get these planning cards right here. And they're just going to go face down just like that, and then you guys can all look at them as soon as you've all grabbed them up. And on the cards here, they're going to say something really interesting. As you can see, this purple player here has the 3 different times at the top, then you got movement in the middle, and at the bottom is how many paintings you can pick up. And you can discern which one you want to use. The sooner you play a card, the sooner the time is, the more likely you're going to play first. So 7:45 is definitely going to play before 8:15 and definitely before 12:30. However, playing with 7:45 will let you move anywhere you want and only get 1 painting, whereas playing at 12:30 will let you move 4 in up, down, left, or right, as well as getting 3 paintings, and so on and so forth. So everybody is going to go ahead and look at their hands and choose and play one of them face down. So for instance, he might play the 7:45 one. The rest of the cards will go at the bottom, and I'll just randomly select one for the rest of these guys to save a little bit of time. Just like that. After everybody has went ahead and picked one face down and put the rest of them on the bottom of the deck, you're going to then return, you're going to reveal simultaneously. So everybody's going to reveal their cards. And as you notice, all 4 different players all start in the middle of this 5x5 grid here, and you play based on the color of your deck, so you can see these a little better. Then you can go ahead and look here and determine who's going to start the game off, as well as flipping over one of these cards here, which will basically mean that at the end of the round, whoever has done this is going to keep this card. Now, on players' certain turns, they're going to be able to take this card, but people can take it from you until it is locked at the end of the round. So you got 7:45 here. He gets to go first before these guys here. So he is purple, and he can go anywhere he wants, up to 4 spaces, and take 1 painting. Well, why is he going to want to do that? Because you're going to have these commission cards right here. These are the 4 commissions cards that will start out, and you're going to go ahead and try and collect these if you can. And the first thing you can do, we can show you here, is the first thing you can do is hike and then paint, which is collecting the landscapes, and then you can sell or trade for the commission cards, which are right here, and claim, if applicable, the today's task card, which is this guy right here. So the first player, we'll go ahead and start with purple here, and he's going to look around. These are all the symbols on the cards here, which represent symbols on these commissions. The cards say different things. This one says you get 3 points at the end of the game if you have this specific commission, and you need, in order to get this, you need to have a landscape that has at least a water symbol and any other symbol on it. So something like Ooh, do we have one on this board here somewhere? I don't think so. Let me find something else. Okay, this one here. This one has 3 different water symbols as well as any other things. So this would work, any set number as long as it has a water symbol. So if you had these 3 paintings right here, you could then take this commission, and that's 6 points at the end of the game. Whereas this one here is only 1 water symbol, but you also need another card that is 2 of anything, and that could be 2 of anything, or the mountain or the sun could be, any of these could be 2 of anything, but you also have to have 1 singular water card, which isn't on the board either. And finally, we got this one, which is 1 of anything, as well as a mountain, a flower, and anything as well. So we look for mountain, flower, anything, and a singular one, which would be this one over here. So if you have these 2, you could collect this one. Now this player obviously can only collect 1 painting right now, so maybe he'll want to go for the mountain and the flower. He'll move there, and you can't collect anything when there's people on the board, and once you leave the space, you're not going to be going onto another person's space ever again. So you'll go ahead and collect this 1 painting. That'll be his 1 painting. He'd put it right next to him, and this is a done card. It's no longer in use. And the next player is going to get to go. It'll be 9:45 for this player, because it's before 10:30 and 12:45. And you've got this is the yellow player right here, and you can go any of these locations here, but you can't go left or right. And you can collect 1 painting as well. Maybe he'll try and stop the other player, and he'll go ahead and take this card right here. He can only get 1 painting himself, so he'll just take this one right here. All right, and this will go over to his area. I guess we'll just put him over in the areas that they accompany. And they'll leave the character there. Then next will be this character here, which is black. 10:30 is same deal, but you can pass over certain things, but you can't go on a certain you can't go on to character spaces already, especially if there's nothing there. You can't go on there either. So he will go for, he can get 2. So this is interesting. Maybe he wants these 2 here. So he'll be moving his 3 spaces. He can move up to 3. Obviously, there's only 2 spaces here, so he'll take these 2 paintings. And you can only take the paintings in which you move, and you can only move in 1 direction. So you couldn't choose to go here, here, and then here. He has to go all the same direction. He take these cards. He'll put them here. Now, so far, nobody's able to collect any of these commissions here, so they're not going to. And also, interestingly enough, too, if we look at this, it says the last person to paint a landscape with exactly 1 feature will get to take this. And yellow was able to do that, I believe. Yellow did collect this one here. So he would hold on to this card on his turn. However, if anybody else at the end of their turn was able to secure a single landscape, they would take that card instead, otherwise it gets locked. All right, so the last player, this one has been burned. And the last player is going to be a green one right here. So he can choose to go up, down, left, right. And he can't take the singular ones because they're only over here. And the rest are doubles or triples. But he can take up to 3 paintings, which is pretty cool. So maybe he will go ahead and take all 3 of these guys. 1, 2, and 3. There's nobody on here anymore. So he's going to secure all 3 of these paintings here. Put him up next to his area. Place his guy there. And then that is it for the turn phase. Nobody else got the special thing here, so it is now locked. It is now going to be yellows for the rest of the game, and it goes and hides there for points for scoring later. After that is done, we go ahead and look at, so that was phase 1 and then phase 2. We go look at phase 3, which is then check for game-ending effects, which is after the 6th round, or if this painting deck has been completed. There's a couple other ways, I believe, but then you're going to replenish the landscape cards. So you take all of these guys right here, and you're going to reset the deck just like this, or reset the board just like this, I should say. And once that is done, you're going to once again start over again. I'll go ahead and check to make sure there's nothing else that's of relevance. Deal new commission cards and a new task card. So if any of these guys were missing, so if 2 people took these, you would put 2 new ones down. If somebody had taken 1 previously, then no, there wouldn't be one replaced until this phase would happen. So if that were to happen, then he would go ahead and do that, but not the case right now. So then you're going to take a new task card, which is this guy right here, for the next daily task. And this one seems to be the last person to not sell a landscape painting. Okay, so if you can not sell landscape painting this round, you're going to gain 2 points. But maybe it's not worth it because these are worth more points. So it'll be up to the players. And then, once again, everybody will take 3 cards again, select which one they want, and continue moving. Just to go ahead and give a little of an explanation, let's go ahead and say, because we're looking at this guy here, and he got the mountain, and he got these 2, which is what he needs for this guy, but he still needs a singular of anything. And it's purple. So if purple went first this round and he wanted to go up, he could take this 1 painting right here if he wanted to, provided he had the ability to with the card. He would get these 2, and then he could spend these 2 to buy this card. These guys would go in the discard pile, and he would gain this card for the rest of the game. And then the play would continue just like that. And that's how you score these guys here. Now, obviously, because he bought a he sold the landscape painting. He's not going to be able to get this piece. But that is the idea of the game, and you keep going throughout it for 6 days or 6 rounds until you run out down to, like, I believe 2 cards. And after that, you're going to tally up all your scores as well as the beneficial cards here, and then that will decide the winner of the game, Sunset Over Water. So that's the basic idea of how to play the game. A couple things to mention is when you're finally scoring, it'll tell you on this card here. I talked about commissions as well as the task cards you can gain, the daily tasks, and the commissions you gain that are these cards here. But you can also gain 1 point per 2 features on a painting. So for instance, this one has 3 here, and you would get a point for having 2 of these here. I think you might even get 1.5 if you have 3. More than likely, I think it's going to be having 4 would get you 2 points. So that would be added to your score as well. Now you can move through players, but you cannot move through blank spaces, just in case I didn't explain that very well. And if you have these task cards and no one ends up completing them or taking care of them, for this one here, it says be the last person to paint a landscape with exactly 3 features, so taking a 3 feature landscape from the board. If no one does that, it gets discarded and it's no longer any good. Also, there is a mini expansion to this game, the Sunset Over Water Nature's Muse mini expansion. It's kind of like a secret objective aspect of the game in which you're going to have these cards here. Everybody's going to get one face down, and you're trying to acquire these specific symbols on your landscapes from what you've collected throughout the game, and whoever has collected the highest amount of these symbols based on the number of players will actually take these cards. So you'll know your own, but you won't know everybody else's, and you can kind of get a sense of what they're collecting and what you need to collect based on what they're collecting for these symbols as well. A nice little addition, mini expansion for the game. And finally, there is a solo mode for the game as well, which has your solo journal here, wake up and your actions and all that kind of stuff. It's just a variant in which you can play by yourself if you would like. I will be specifically talking about the 2 to 4 player experience of the game, so I'm going to tell you what I think about it right now. Now, the idea of Sunset Over Water, where you're going into nature and collecting the paintings and then you're trying to sell them after drawing them for a commission, does really work well with this game. You do have it's almost like a relaxing experience, a zen-like experience, I suppose, up until the point where people start taking the paintings or painting over the areas in which you want, because you're trying to collect different areas with the symbols that are going to match the symbols you want from the commission stack here. So if I needed this grass here for some reason, and there was a grass commission on there, and somebody else took it before me because they played a card earlier than me, I get pretty upset. But maybe that was because I wanted to spend, I want to get a card that was like a later card, but it was going to give me more paintings that I can pick up for more commissions. So that is the result of poor planning on my end. Nevertheless, though, the game works very well and very, very flowy, nice, refreshing feeling of a game. Eduardo Dubra, Pencil First Games, all these guys, they do a great job. Herbaceous was the last game I reviewed from them, and it was spectacular. This game is just as good, if not better. I had a fun experience with this game. I always want to play with more players. I mean, 2 players is great, 3 players is better, 4 players is the best. You get that sense of it's more competitive the more players, and things get more scarce as the rounds go on, and it does work very well. You're always trying to figure out what your opponents are doing, what they're planning on doing, and how you're trying to circumcede what they're doing in exchange for getting the cards you need. You might have to take an earlier time and only get to draw 1 of those cards. And the scoring of the game works very easy as well, very simple, even with the little addition of the expansion, which is a nice little addition. It's not needed just like the Herbaceous mini expansion, but it is a nice little added touch for people who are more experienced and want to have an extra fulfilling game. Now, the artwork is amazing. It's spectacular. I love this artwork. You got the bunch of the trees, and you got water, and yeah, it's just really wonderful landscape paintings that are just really nice to look at, and I just enjoy the feel of the game. The grid makes it feel good. Moving your character on the board is nice, and everything and everyone is pretty relaxed when playing the game. There is a lot of competitive, quiet nature to it, but there's a lot of laughs as well, and people take the cards that you don't want them to take, and vice versa. Overall, though, an excellent game. The component quality is great, even for this just being a prototype. I fully endorse you getting this game when it comes out. However it's going to come out, I think it's going to come out on Kickstarter. Definitely check out Sunset Over Water, especially like Herbaceous, because these games, while they're not the same or similar in that manner, they do have the same feel to them. If you like that one, this is definitely one to pick up as well. If I were to rate it through 10, which I normally don't, this would be a solid 10, a game I would keep on my collection if I could, but it's a prototype, I gotta send it back. But if I could, I would definitely keep it right now, because we've played it so many times afterwards and had such a great time with Sunset Over Water. Definitely check it out.